This episode of the Occultae Veritatis podcast is brought to us by our lovely patrons and by Studio Headphones. To get 15% off your first purchase of Studio Headphones, use the code OVPOD at checkout. Enjoy the show.
Warning, this podcast contains violence, sexuality, gore, and other horrible and disturbing things. Listener discretion is advised. Also, be aware that the hosts of this venture are ignorant dipshits, so please do not take anything they say as fact. And enjoy the show.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
Today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be.
The atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand.
It is our basic human right to be fucked up.
A second plane now has crashed into the other tower of the World Trade Center.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The defendant shall be incarcerated for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men.
We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Occultae Veritatis.
Leon has like the sexiest radio voice.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Also, we are Occultae Veritatis, the podcast where we discuss like crime and serial killers and
horrors of reality.
Yeah, horrors of reality.
I'm Ood Gallifrey.
I'm Sage Murray.
I'm Leon Filger, and joining us in studio today, the award-winning broadcaster and now author, Dan West.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I am the newsman formerly known as Dan West, but now I'm just a tiny drab of detritus on the side of the 4-lane freeway of life. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Lone Ranger, disguised as a door, had his knob shot off by Tonto.
Well, we're really excited to have you.
We are excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. We've never had a real radio person on our radio show, so it's exciting.
Well, you should, because it's the greatest podcast in the history of the world.
It is. Thanks.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It is.
Maybe one day.
Sign up.
Oh, yeah. Well, today we're talking about the killing of Walter Scott.
But before we do that, it's time for What's Your Poison?
Yeah.
What's your poison?
So, what's your poison?
What's your poison?
So, for tonight's episode, I brought my favorite beer in the whole wide world, Steam Whistle Pilsner.
I love this beer.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's brewed in the Roundhouse Brewery at the base of the CN Tower in Toronto. And the first time I ever had this was when I was in the CN Tower and was sipping this beer out of a bottle just like this. What the fuck's under the table?
The cat.
Oh, Jesus.
She startled me. It's the cat.
Oh.
She wants attention.
Somebody stepped on the pussy.
Do you want me to kick you out? Okay, so we're...
Okay, yeah, sorry. No, I first started drinking this in Toronto, top of the CN Tower, looking down the side of the CN Tower onto the Roundhouse Brewery, and I thought the following. When I pee in the urinal, my pee goes down the hill to the brewery. Therefore, this beer must be my pee. But for my pee, this is some delicious fucking beer.
Yeah. Were you high?
No, I wasn't. I was homeless, though.
You were off the ground.
I was off the ground, yeah.
Does it come out as cold and refreshing as this, though?
Yeah.
It does?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
Cold pee?
Oh, no.
Cold pee. I like it because I'm a Pilsner guy, and this one has a really nice bite to it without being skunky, like some harder Pilsners are. So this is just the perfect blend of Pilsner for me. And with that, I will rate it a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, well, I will rate it like a 7 or an 8. That's good. I really like this beer.
You know what? It has this interesting, I guess, I don't know if there's the right term, mouthfeel, where you swallow and then kind of the taste spreads around your mouth.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah.
It is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm not a big fan of Pilsners, but this ain't bad. It's not a Pilsner, I guess.
I think it is a Pilsner.
Yeah, it's like a good Pilsner.
This is what a Pilsner tastes like.
I don't know. Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Also, apparently my dad listens to this podcast, so sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
In advance. I know.
My parents both listen to the podcast.
Yeah, my parents both too. Yeah. My grandma wants to listen, but I'm scared to give her the link.
Don't.
Yeah.
No.
The case making national headlines. Former police officer Michael Slager now sentenced for the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man after a traffic stop. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami tonight.
The former South Carolina police officer in this alarming cell phone video is headed to federal prison tonight for 20 years, one of the longest sentences ever handed down to an officer in a racially charged shooting. In court, families on both sides broke into tears as the judge sent 36-year-old Michael Slager away. From the beginning, he claimed self-defense.
Fired until the threat was stopped.
But today, Judge David Norton refused to believe this, saying Slager shot an unarmed man in the back as he ran away.
My soul is rejoicing right now.
The family of 50-year-old Walter Scott told Slager they forgive him for everything. Slager says he's grateful, telling them, "I wish I could go back and change that day."
I accept it, and we want to move on.
There are no winners here. One man is dead and another is leaving behind a young child as he heads to prison. Slager's team has 2 weeks to decide if they'll appeal.
Yeah, so today I'm talking about the killing of Walter Scott. I've watched a few YouTube videos made by police officers telling from a quote-unquote police officer's perspective, so even though I have a pretty big bias against the cops here because it feels like murder was had, I'm going to try and give them the benefit of the doubt as much as I can. So Walter Scott was killed on April 4th, 2015. The number one song on the radio was Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
Oh, my kid likes that song.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that song.
Yeah.
Is that the 5150 someone called a popo? Or is that another song?
Uptown Funk You Up.
Uptown Funk You Up. Uptown Funk You Up.
Uptown Funk You Up.
Say what?
Yeah, so Walter Scott was a forklift operator taking massage therapy courses. Basically, he had trouble paying his child support payments to his ex-wife, and he wanted to get into a more luxurious industry, and massage therapy was paying more than the blue-collar work that the forklift operator done.
Forklift.
So the first job didn't rub him the right way, is that what you're saying?
Well, he also... Something... Oh, boy. Yeah, and he actually saw a bunch of his coworkers get hurt, and he wanted to rub them the right way, so that was part of his motivation as well.
Oh, that's cute.
So it was a hands-on job, right?
Oh boy, this is going to be fun. He'd been sent to jail 3 times previously for being negligent on child support payments. He was jobless for a long time, and the way the laws are structured there, that even if you don't have a job, you are required to keep on paying child support, and if you cannot, you go to jail.
Damn.
Shit.
Yeah, so
Are there no prisons? Are there no poorhouses?
Not that I could find. He was a part of the U.S. Coast Guard for 2 years when he was caught with weed and dishonorably discharged.
That's what always happens to me when I join the Coast Guard. Fucking bag of weed.
Every time.
Rolled up in my pant cuff, and then I'm dishonorably discharged.
Damn.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Yes.
Where was this chap living at the time of this incident?
He was living in North Charleston.
Which is...
it's a city in... Oh, where?
North
you
Carolina.
know where it is.
North Carolina. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
Good thing you can't see me because I have spots all over my face.
Oh, that's all right.
They're nice spots, though.
It's from chemo.
Oh, well, that's not nice spots then.
History on the face. That's all good. Yeah. So North Charleston, the city kind of surrounding this incident, they kind of put pressure on because the city had gotten 848 reports of excessive force at the time of the shooting, and that's from the beginning of the year. So from the beginning of the year to April 4th, there was 848 reports of excessive force.
Damn.
The city police also had racial hiring practices, or racist hiring practices, because the city was only 37% white, but yet the police force was 88% white. And the city was 67% African American.
But maybe no one wanted the job.
It could be. And a lot of the African Americans in there, of course, were living at lower socioeconomic status, and they had problems finding a job whatsoever rather than pursuing the specific job of policing. So it might be just economic pressure as well. The shooter, the police officer in question, was Michael Slager. He was 33 years old at the time of the incident. Funny enough, he was also a U.S. Coast Guard for 4 years, serving at the same place that Walter Scott did.
Wow.
Walter Scott was the first premier of Saskatchewan.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Probably not the same guy.
Probably
No,
not.
I'd say no.
Walter Scott was the premier in 1905.
Oh, geez.
He was a liberal.
Now, I didn't look into whether this guy was an immortal or not.
I wasn't around then. People think I was, but I wasn't.
In 2013, Michael Slager was accused of using a taser without provocation. So, shocking somebody just when they wouldn't give him the respect that he thought was due.
Don't tase me, bro.
Gross.
An investigation was conducted in that 2013 incident, and the police cleared themselves of wrongdoing. A media investigation afterward revealed that the victim and all the witnesses involved were not interviewed or questioned in this internal investigation of police.
Ew.
Yeah, so they cleared themselves of wrongdoing without interviewing any of the victims or witnesses involved.
Without an actual investigation.
Did you see that YouTube video of the cop who went to tase someone who didn't deserve to be tased and he accidentally tased himself?
Oh,
that's funny.
It's a good one.
Instant karma.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, in 2014, a very similar thing happened. He was accused of tasing without incident. He was cleared, and again, the victims and witnesses were not interviewed. A 2015 review, 1 month before the incident, so 1 month before he shot Walter Scott, he was said to be a great officer with fantastic safety tactics and great prominent skill with his taser.
Obviously.
Practice.
So 9:30 a.m. April 4th. Slager, the police officer, pulled over Walter Scott for non-functioning brake lights. So he pulled him over in the parking lot of a hardware store.
What were the brakes actually non-functioning?
Yeah, from the dash cam, I'll put it on the link to the episode actually, but from the dash cam video, it appears that his left side brake lights were flashing quickly, which I guess shows a short somewhere in the electricals.
Okay.
Dash cam shows Slager approaching Scott's 1991 Mercedes. Slager approaches the vehicle, talks to Scott. Slager then returns to the police car. It's at that time, Slager was looking up on his computer what was on Scott's record, and he found out that there was a warrant for his arrest, again for negligence of paying child support. Walter Scott was attempting to pay all he could, but you either pay all of it or you go to jail from the law.
How can you pay child support when you're in the jail house?
You make literally like a cent an hour, yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like they're, like, you think that law would be pressuring it to do it for the good of the kid, but if he's in jail, that's not doing any good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How is that going to strengthen family ties?
Yeah.
Not.
Family values, man.
Yeah, so Scott, he knew that he had this warrant on him, and as soon as Slager got back into his police car, Scott saw his opportunity and he took off running, and he ran behind the hardware store. Slager is shown on the dash cam pursuing him. Slager took out his taser and discharged one bolt and missed. Scott kept on running and went behind a pawn shop. Now, on the video that's become famous since then, you can see Slager pursuing Scott in this grassy field behind this pawn shop. Slager discharged his second taser round. This time, the prongs stuck into Scott, but they weren't stuck in a way that would provide a charge. They weren't stuck enough to provide a current, I guess. Scott kept on running. Slager got agitated, impatient, was insulted, I don't know, and he shot 8 rounds into Scott as he was running away.
8 rounds?
8 rounds.
Christ almighty.
Yep, boom, boom, boom.
8?
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, boy. Boom, boom.
That's
boom,
silly.
Boom, boom,
yeah.
Boom, boom.
Of the 8, 5 struck Scott. 3 in the back, 1 in the left ear, so it tore his outer ear off, and 1 in the buttocks. The killing bullet went through his left lung and his heart, killing him instantly.
Okay, now that's not funny.
No.
No.
You know, even I can't make jokes about that.
Yeah. We try to make jokes when we can, because things often get quite deep.
This is a heavy
quickly.
podcast.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy podcast.
But
that's
But that's not something you talk about.
How do you justify shooting someone who's running away?
Exactly.
8 times?
8
well,
times.
After you've already tried to shoot him twice with your taser?
I was under the impression that cops only shot people when their own lives or the lives of other people were threatened.
Yeah.
A dude running away from you is no threat to anyone.
Exactly.
Running away is not a death sentence.
No.
And that's a good question. How did he justify it? He started to try and justify it as soon as he radioed his dispatch. He said, "Shots fired, subject is down, he tried to grab my taser."
He did not.
So...
He was running away from you.
So Slager wrote a report claiming that Scott grabbed his taser and he made Slager fear for his life because he had his taser.
Was Scott's fingerprints on the taser?
They didn't find any.
You don't say.
No
kidding. He was scared. He wrote in the report, I read part of the report, like a redacted version, and it said that he was scared that he was going to get shocked by the taser, that he would then take his gun and kill him. So yeah, that's what he wrote in the report. Fiden Santana, a man that was walking by at the time, shot a video on his cell phone. And he caught the whole incident about what actually happened.
That's a really cool name.
Oh yeah.
Fiden Santana.
Fiden Santana.
I like it.
Yeah, he sounds like a NPC in a video game.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
He wasn't
band member.
Yeah.
He wasn't planning on releasing it. This guy had trouble with the police in the past, and he also just trusted police, and he thought that he might face some type of retribution or some type of revenge if he were to release it. That is until he saw the news report on the TV where the report of events was totally opposite from what he found. So I'm going to go through 3 major places where the report differs from reality. Taking a quick break from the horror police brutality. We'll get back to it really quick, but first I got to talk about our sponsor, Studio Headphones. Now, lots of phones out there are taking away their headphone jacks. Bluetooth is starting to rule the day. You know, iPhone came out and they said hell with that headphone jack, and a lot of other phone companies are doing the same as them. The reality being that soon you'll have to get a Bluetooth device or Bluetooth headphones in order to keep up with the activity of phones and MP3 players changing, because the whole technological field is changing. Now, Bluetooth headphones, no word of a lie, are more expensive than regular headphones. There's a higher level of technology in them, and they're going to have to be more expensive to be worth it. But with that comes more risk. So the higher you pay, the more risk you take that whatever you buy could be crap. But after spending some time with the Studio headphones and giving them a good, honest try, I am confident that they are worth the money. Studio is a good brand. They have a good sound quality. Take it, I'm editing with them right now. They have a good meeting area between style and function. They have customizable caps you can put on the side and have all kinds of designs such as black and white marble, blue palm fronds, pink palm fronds, a whole bunch of designs so you can make your headphones your own. Not only do they look good, they work really good as well. They have 24 hours of battery life, so if you want to get a new pair of headphones that are of high quality and you want to support our podcast, just go to sudio.com. That's sudio.com and use our code OVPOD at checkout. Use that code to get 15% off your first purchase and show Studio that you love Occultae Veritatis podcast. Now back to the show. So in the report, it says that he grabbed for my taser. In the actual video, and I'll put the video on there, you guys can watch it frame by frame and judge for yourself. In the video, the taser is shot, one of the prongs goes into Scott's back, and he just runs away. He doesn't make any attempt to grab. The prongs hit him in the back. He experiences some pain, and he just runs away. There's no attempt to grab. In the report, it said that Slager performed first aid on Scott. He did not. As soon as he shot him, Scott went face down and died almost instantly and started bleeding out, but there was a chance that he could have been saved if proper aid was given. First aid was not given, as it was said in the report. All Slager did was handcuff him as he was face down and left him just lying in the dirt.
Christ.
Handcuff the dead man.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also said that...
Safety first.
Oh, yeah. It also said that Slager performed CPR on Scott in an attempt to save his life. He did not in the video.
Especially if he's face down, you can't hardly do CPR when
exactly
the recipient of the said CPR is face down.
Or dead.
Oh, yes. Now,
almost dead.
Yeah. There is one medical circumstance I learned in nursing school, and I don't recall what it was, where CPR is actually performed with the person face down, but I don't remember why it is. Something to do with a spinal cord injury.
That makes sense.
But the compressions are done on the back on either side of the spine. I'll look it up maybe if I feel like it and report back later.
Yeah.
But in this case, of course, that wouldn't be applicable. So
No, certainly not.
Now, in the video, you can see that he shoots the taser. He then drops the taser and pulls out his rifle as he's running away. So he drops the taser on the ground. He then runs over to Scott's body, and in the video, you see him running back to get something. He's picking up the taser on the ground. And he brings it back and he throws it into Scott's body to make it look like he had the taser and he just dropped it when he shot him dead.
A throwaway or whatever they call it in the cop books.
Oh, that's yucky.
Okay, now. I'm
Not you.
I'm
the whole
deeply-
situation.
No, I mean, I'm deeply offended by all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Scott was black, eh?
Oh yes, Michael Scott was,
Okay.
was an African.
Really?
You don't say.
Yeah,
surprise.
Michael Scott was an African American man, and Michael Slager was a white police officer.
So you're shot for RWB, running while black.
Oh yes.
I like the fact that because I'm white, the odds of me being killed by an American police officer are essentially zero.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're
A
a
white
foreigner.
I'm Canadian. That makes me even less offensive.
Yeah.
No, they don't like us.
I'm Canadian. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Put the gun away here.
Well, that reminds me of a comedian that once said that, like, that's the reality of white privilege. Like, if I had to pick again, I would choose white every time.
Yeah.
Oh, I would too. Because you know about the time machine, hey?
Oh yeah.
White people love time machines. Black people can't do time machines. Indigenous people can't do time machines.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're white, you can get in the time machine and go to literally any time in history, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You open the door and it's, we have a buffet laid out for you. Like, feudal Europe is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Civil War, fucking awesome. Biblical times, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Roman, great. Greek, great. Today, great. Don't want to go to the future, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know what they are going to do to us once they become the majority.
Well, like for any other
fair enough.
any other minority, Native, Black, LGBT, like
Indigenous.
Indigenous. I mean, you don't want to go back past 1960.
No, it's all bad news before then.
There was some aftermath after. So the police department had to do a very quick 180 turn because they had basically lied to the media before about what happened, and they were caught with their hands in their pants and all that.
Was this Huckabee's first job?
Yeah, right.
or was Sean Spicer doing this?
I wonder how many people like that they're totally comfortable with falsehoods for a living. How did she tell her kids not to bullshit to her? That's what I wonder.
Does she have kids?
Oh yeah, a boy and a girl, I think.
Are you kidding? Who'd boink her?
I don't know.
Actually, she's pretty good on camera, I must admit. But how can she, with a straight face, say all of those things?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a real problem getting sexual with somebody that I hate morally.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So the city had to fire Slager, and
Good.
Darn.
the mayor of the city, the mayor of North Charleston, ordered 150 body cameras so that it wouldn't happen again. Because there was people that were getting mad, and rightfully so, saying that if this video wouldn't have surfaced, this man would have gotten away with murder. So the mayor ordered 150 body cameras for all the police officers.
But, I mean, how often do you see those body camera videos, and just before shit goes down, the image cut out.
Yeah.
And then the cop says, it malfunctioned, or I must have hit the switch or something or other.
Yeah.
Like, they've got to make them so that there's one person at the police station who can activate it,
Yeah.
and that's the only person who can deactivate it. It requires, like, a special key or a thumbprint, and the officer is completely powerless to turn the thing off, short of breaking it.
I
Or
agree.
if not, at least motion. It starts when the guy leaves the car or something.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
force
something like
field
that.
is broken or person,
Yeah.
man, woman,
Well, there was
officer in uniform.
there was a drug possession case in the States where a cop was caught planting drugs on his body camera because he didn't understand how it worked. And he basically how the camera works is when you press that button, it's always recording, but it only saves the last 60 seconds. So as soon as you press that button and start recording, it saves up to 60 seconds before you press that button.
Right.
And in that 60 seconds before, it showed him planting drugs on that man's property. And
Sprinkle some crack on him and before you run away.
well, just a little baggie full of drugs. And then he switches his camera on and he does the whole charade of walking.
Oh, I found some drugs.
Yeah, walking back into the back alley and being, looking around like I don't know where it is already. Oh, look at this and all that.
Oh.
And he got fucking caught for it. So a GoFundMe campaign was started for Officer Slager's legal defense. This was after the video surfaced, so the officers seen what he did,
How
what
the
he was
fuck do you
accused.
defend that? Who would contribute to that GoFundMe?
Hundreds of officers from that city contributed to it.
Disgusting.
The thick blue line, I guess it
Yeah,
was.
fuck.
Yeah.
I love unions, but the police unions sometimes make me uncomfortable.
Well, see, the police union is a strange beast because most most unions have like a company that battles against them. So the union demands stuff and the company demands stuff and there's some sort of balance. But in the police union, there's no company that's battling against the police union. So the police union is the end-all be-all authority.
And they just set up a wall, an impenetrable wall around themselves and accuse anyone who opposes them of being cop haters.
Yep.
And then find some reason to arrest them.
Yeah.
Good point. Yes.
In the name of the man who got killed, the budget for the bill was increased to $3.4 million, and the police and the city was able to buy 2,000 body cameras. So now every cop that was out there would have a body camera on them. Slager was arrested April 7th, so a pretty speedy arrest actually, and he was charged with murder.
I would like to see a drone mounted on the roof of the cop car that flies at like 300 feet with a camera pointed at the cop the whole time he or she is doing their thing.
Yeah, controlled by a third party.
Completely autonomous.
Yeah.
The cop would have like a little tracking tile in their bulletproof vest, and the drone is just trained to follow them. Bird's eye view the whole time.
Yeah. Until we go all Black Mirror and we install little cameras in their eyes and all that. That's what we're going to have to do. He was tried and convicted of second-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
Do they have body cameras for police dogs? Because that'd be important.
Yeah, I think so, because they're often far ahead of their trainers.
I watched a brief documentary a few months ago where they had two fake suspects, right, with wearing the full body padding, and 100% of the time, each of these different police dogs took out the black subject and not the white one.
Yeah. Well, they go off the owner's body language.
Yep.
They're way more apt to body language, and they can.
So these police dogs are racist.
Yeah. I guess sort of happy ending. Scott's family sued the city and was paid $6.5 million.
Woo.
I guess that took care of his child support bill.
Yeah.
One would think.
You would hope. I mean,
I would hope, yeah. The lawyers got $4.8 million out of that.
Oh, probably. Probably. And then taxes probably took a big chunk out of it as well. Family probably saw, I don't know, $1.2 million after it was all done. Enough to raise a kid, at least.
For now.
Yeah. But that's the reality, and that's why they ordered all those body cameras, because in this situation, if the original media report was allowed to go forward, if there was no camera, there would be no conviction.
Yeah.
They were perfectly comfortable. And the people who responded, Scott told them the real story of what happened, and he was instructed to rewrite the report to be different. And they were totally comfortable with covering it up. I've heard some defenders, I guess, diving into the comment sections of old articles and all that, and some of these people that support Officer Slager and the murder were saying things like, well, they're all bad eggs anyway, so even if he didn't deserve to be killed that time, he would have done something in the future that deserved to be killed.
I can't for the life of me understand why black people would fear cops.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Baffling.
What's the point? I mean, they're all nice guys.
Yeah, and that's the attitude behind a lot of false convictions as well, is, well, maybe they didn't do this one, but they probably did something else and probably deserved to go off the streets anyhow. And all
Did I
that.
tell you my racist cop story last time?
No.
This is maybe 10 years ago. I was walking on Avenue B, which for our listeners is like the east end of the hood in Saskatoon. And I had been coming home from a house party. I'd parked my car downtown, and I was leaving the house party, which was on Avenue H, and I was going to walk to my car downtown. And a couple guys at the party said, like, no, you can't do that right now. You're going to get jumped, but we'll take you back to your car. And these are two beefy-looking Indigenous guys.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, great. That'd be perfect. And they said, can you drive us back here when we get to your cars? No problem. So we're walking on Avenue B, B in like 21st Street, and a cop rolled up beside us, rolled down the window, looked straight at me and said, "Are they with you?"
Holy.
And I said, yeah, because I didn't know what else to say. And the window rolled up and off he went.
Holy shit.
It didn't even occur. And I was like, what the fuck was that about? Like, oh, that happens every day. I'm like, no, are you serious? Like, yeah, dude, every single day, if we were walking on this street at 3 a.m, a cop will stop us 100% of the time. And I'm like, I couldn't even comprehend that. But yeah. that's real.
Alrighty, so that's the 2 for 2 police brutality episodes we've done. Both Daniel Shaver and now Walter Scott. I'll play something a little cheery, a little rocky to just play us out. Remember to stick around after the palate cleanser for the after show. I got some voicemails to play and some emails to read, so it's going to be a good one. Our palate cleanser for this episode is the song On Sale by the band Golden Duck Orchestra. Enjoy. Alrighty, first and foremost, number one priority is this little clip ended up on the cutting room floor, didn't make it into the episode, but Leon admits something pretty awesome that he's willing to do when we hit a certain goal on Patreon, so here it is.
If we get to 100 patrons, I will get pepper sprayed in the face live on the podcast.
Ooh, neat.
Oh, is that just... Are we rolling?
Oh, yeah,
we are rolling.
Yeah.
It's a pledge.
Yeah, I'll do it. We get 100 patrons. I will let someone pepper spray me in the face.
And then you'll do it again on Telemiracle.
Alrighty, first and foremost, number one priority is this little clip ended up on the cutting room floor, didn't make it into the episode, but Leon admits something pretty awesome that he's willing to do when we hit a certain goal on Patreon, so here it is. Alright, so you heard it here. We're taking a page out of the lovely ladies and gentlemen from the Jackass group. So if you want to support Leon's goal, just sign up on Patreon, and when we hit 100 patrons, he will take pepper spray to the face. Me and Sage have also decided to do something, tasering, eating a ghost pepper, something along that. So you can get some schadenfreude by supporting us on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ovpod. Next, we have a hilarious voicemail from the One Word Go Show podcast. It was a pretty behind-the-scenes stuff. They were just calling to thank me for calling into their show, and they couldn't figure out how to hang up. It's fucking hilarious. Here it is.
Hey! Is this Ood and friends?
And friends.
Yeah, this is Matt and friends. And Dan.
And Andrew. And Melissa, say hi.
Hi.
Hey, we're all from the One Word Go Show. You had sent us a voicemail recently submitting a word to the show, and we just wanted to call and say thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
We appreciate that very much. We played your voicemail on the show. The episode was Lions, or Lion. I forget if it was pluralized. But go check it out when you get a sec. I kind of ride you a little bit, but it was just jokes. I love you very much. We plug your show because y'all sound like great people. Also, we realized you guys are Canadian? ovpod.ca, right? That's gotta be Canada.
Gotta be.
Gotta be a resident or something. Anyway, hey, guys, thanks so much. I'm just having a one-sided conversation with myself at this point.
That's what you always do.
Typically, yeah. Hey, thanks again. We love you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Loves.
Love you. We love you. Guys, how do you hang up SpeakPipe?
Hit
Guys,
the
Say
stop button.
end.
Hit that
End.
stop button.
End
See,
record.
It's a big green stop button.
I'm pressing it. It's not doing anything.
What the hell? Just push it.
I am. Hold on.
This is the worst end to a voicemail.
Did my mouse disconnect?
Try pressing. Just try maybe enter.
Can you bring me some batteries?
No,
Just hit the.
we don't have any batteries, Matt.
Well,
Use your touchpad.
Oh, yep.
I can't really make fun of them too hard. You know, they seem like nice enough people, and, you know, technology is getting more and more non-intuitive, and, you know, they do a great job of making fun of themselves. So, next up, we have a voicemail from another podcast, Mike from the Dark Poutine Podcast. I called into his show, and he's calling back to call into ours, so here it is.
Hey! Is this Ood and friends?
And friends.
Yeah, this is Matt
And friends.
and Dan.
And Andrew. And Melissa, say hi.
Hi.
Hey, we're all from the One Word Go Show. You had sent us a voicemail recently submitting a word to the show, and we just wanted to call and say thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
We appreciate that very much. We played your voicemail on the show. The episode was Lions, or Lion. I forget if it was pluralized. But go check it out when you get a sec. I kind of ride you a little bit, but it was just jokes. I love you very much. We plug your show because y'all sound like great people. Also, we realized you guys are Canadian? ovpod.ca, right? That's gotta be Canada.
Gotta be.
Gotta be a resident or something. Anyway, hey, guys, thanks so much. I'm just having a one-sided conversation with myself at this point.
That's what you always do.
Typically, yeah. Hey, thanks again. We love you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Loves.
Love you. We love you. Guys, how do you hang up SpeakPipe? Guys,
hit
I
the
don't
stop
know.
button.
End.
Hit that
End.
stop button.
End
See, hit the-
record.
It's a
Stop
big
button.
green stop button.
I'm pressing it. It's not doing anything.
What the hell? Just push it.
I am. Hold on.
This is the worst end to a voicemail.
Did my mouse disconnect?
Try pressing. Try maybe enter.
Can you bring me some batteries?
No,
Just hit the.
we don't have any batteries, Matt.
Well,
Use your touchpad.
Oh, yep.
And of course, what Mike is referring to there is episode 10 of his podcast. He told his story of when he met a monster in 1981. So a story from his own life that's been affecting them to this day. It's a very personal story, and I think it's a story that needs to be told more often to break stereotypes, to get the word out there, and, eliminate suck in this world. So, if nothing else, listen to episode 10 of the Dark Poutine podcast. Also, the episode that we're talking about collaborating on is our upcoming Bigfoot episode. We cover Bigfoot in more of a general worldwide thing, so his characteristics of the worldwide, and Mike has proposed to do a report on that from a very strange place. It's going to be very unexpected. I'm not going to ruin it, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Lastly, before we go, we have an email from Carmen. Carmen recently had the episode that she won in a contest aired. That was the